Welcome to Heather Ewing, the CRE Rundown. Today, I have a special guest for you. Once again, I have Diana Schmidt with me. She is the principal and consultant of Hausman Group. Diana, welcome.
Thank you, Heather. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, I am ecstatic to have you on. As you know, I love talking commercial real estate, related realms, and of course, endurance sports, of which for all of those that are watching, they get to see your shirt. And for those that are
Right,
listening,
right.
what is it?
The Iron
Ironman, Wisconsin, baby.
Yay.
All right. Congratulations to you. What an accomplishment.
Thank
So
you.
before we dive into all of the real estate stuff, let's touch on the Ironman.
Yeah,
What brought you, right? I always say you have to have a why. What
that's
was
right.
your why in that?
So I learned about the Ironman after signing up to volunteer in 2018. And I just saw so many incredible athletes and not just, professional athletes, but just everyday normal people or people that had challenges. Maybe they didn't have all of their appendages, or maybe they were a fireman wearing all of their equipment. And I just thought it was just so inspiring to see all of these people out there for, hours upon hours doing this. And it just made me want to, learn more. And it took a couple years to get there, but I finally committed in January of this year that this was going to be my year. And I started training. I never really was a bike rider, never was a swimmer. So it was a lot for 1 year, but it was incredible.
That is amazing. So, adding on to that, was there a particular conversation with someone? Was there something from your past that you wanted to change here in the present? Was it a future goal? Like, what was kind of
Yeah.
that pinnacle piece, right? Because you hear about people that are achieving these huge goals, which the Ironman obviously is in my book. That's a huge high caliber event, takes a ton of discipline, mindset, physicality, everything. Was there one certain thing per se, or was it kind of like a lineup of different items?
It was a lineup. So I started to just educate myself and learn more about the race. And there's so many people in the business community that do these races. And maybe it's not the Ironman, but they do, other triathlons or marathons. And it's just incredible to see and meet these people. And so I just learned so much about it. And I know that the Ironman is, it's like 1% of the population or less, is our Ironman.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm it. Like, that's me. I want to be the best there is. Now, I'm not going to be a podium finisher. I'm not, it's not that,
Never
that
say
I'm that,
never. Never
not that I'm
say
that great
never.
at it, but I just thought I'm constantly challenging myself to be a better person. And it's really me against, it was my race to run. I wasn't trying to be anybody out there. I just wanted to finish and do it for my kids and my husband and for myself, really.
Yeah.
I did tie it to a fundraiser, so I'm on the board for Blessings in a Backpack, and it's an incredible group. And so I just kind of made it a little more personal with those children we support, to be like, I'm not just doing this for me, but I want to bring all of them, the
Yeah.
11,000 kids in Waukesha County that have food insecurity, across the finish line with me.
Yeah.
And just used it as a platform to advocate. So that was really meaningful too.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's a completely another dimension to it. So again, taking a step back, what would you say was your biggest fear going into it? And also upon completion of crossing that finish line and everything kind of distilling, what would you say was your greatest triumph?
So I my biggest fear initially was the swim, and I
Hmm.
had never swam, just for fun, really, with my kids, and
Right.
never swam laps or anything. So I mean, it was really starting from scratch, and I was fearful of it, right? Of actually, like, people die in the swim and like things happen. And um, I worked really hard at it. I set a goal. I knew I could do it. But I started swimming with a professional coach, a swim team, Try Faster, and they're amazing. And they helped me learn how to swim efficiently and correctly. And to have confidence. And it actually turned into probably my biggest strength in the whole race, which I
Oh,
would have
that's
never
awesome.
imagined that when I started. So it was crazy.
Well, and to your point, Diana, that's one of the really neat things I think about endurance sports, or also when we decide on that big goal, is that you don't know what you're capable of until you're really thrown into it. And kudos to you for getting the professional coach and things of that nature, because you hear for some reason with the Ironman, especially that some of the people just go in of they're going to do their own training, and my heart goes out because for so many hours, and you just think of you get one body and you want to
Right,
maximize it and also try to have some fun along the way,
right,
as you're out there for all those hours.
right. Well, and I knew that I had to balance a lot, right? Some people say, what did you have to give up for this? And I just looked at it as an investment in me. I needed to know that I could still be the best wife, the best mom, the best, advisor to my clients. So I wanted
Right.
to make sure that I used my time wisely too and trained, to be able to finish the race.
Oh,
So it was,
definitely.
yeah, it was really helpful to have a coach that really knew how to do it.
And I agree. I think it's interesting, and marathons are a much shorter training duration, and also the competition itself. But it's interesting, and I'm sure you heard this over and over of when do you find the time to train? And to your point, it is giving up certain things. What are a few things that you had to give up over what was it, a 9 month training plan, 8, 9 months?
It was I started in January of, yep, this year. I would say, I
Mhm.
mean, I gave up sleeping in and I didn't sleep in, late before, but it was, 4:30 a.m. wake up calls to go swimming and in
Yeah.
January and February in Wisconsin, right? Like who wants to go do that? But I just made sure that every day I did what I was supposed to do and I prioritized it in the morning if I could because there's not a lot of people that need me at 4 in the morning. It's kind of a like time that I could give to the training. So I did a lot of it as early as I could so that I didn't have to give up stuff with the family or work or things like that.
Yeah,
So
no, that's great. So now that you've completed this, how would you say it translates into career?
I think that it opened my eyes. I had no idea. I thought I just wanted to finish the Ironman when I started, right? I just wanted to do the race
Mhm.
but everything I learned along the way about how strong my mind is and how I can do hard things just translates
Mhm.
in business. It's just
Yeah.
incredible. So I feel amazing. I've been, the healthiest I've probably ever been in my whole life, which is great heading into mid 40s and, beyond because, you start to kind of most people let themselves go or they start to, not
Mhm.
care. And I want to be healthy. I think it's helpful for your mind to be
Definitely.
present and to be able to talk and advise people. So it connects to everything I do for business.
I agree. And I think also when you're active and in endurance sports, whichever one you choose, pick your poison, right? Is that it really becomes a lifestyle. And what might feel like certain things you're giving up over time shift where you look back on some of the different ways you used to live, and they're no longer as interesting or beckoning, if you want to say. And I'm a firm believer with you that as we age, it truly is a mindset and what you decide, because then I think with those clear crystal decisions and action that you either stay physically healthy or you don't, you're either stretching and flexible or you're not, you're either eating clean or you're not, and I think it's an evolution. It's not an overnight change. When you see the overnight changes, they might last for a couple weeks or to get you to a certain event. But I think the lifelong choices are, as you had mentioned, having a solid why and then choosing why you want it and deliberately moving forward with that.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
agree. And I think the biggest thing I got out of it too was I tried to, like I say, advocate for blessings in a backpack, but it had a different reach. And
Mhm.
people were reaching out to me not only on behalf of blessings, but also on behalf of their own inspiration. And they would say things like, I started working out again. Like I saw what you did on Saturday. You rode your bike for 5 hours. Like I didn't do that, but but I went for a walk. And I you don't know who you're reaching sometimes and until they tell you, and they don't always tell you. So I that made me feel good when people would reach out and say things like that.
Definitely. No, I agree. It's like you hold that dear to your heart, and it's also a special memory not only during training and the event, but also it's something that carries with you,
Yeah.
far beyond that. I think too, people don't realize what an impact we do have on each other through these
Mhm.
different types of physical sports, careers, relationships, otherwise. So it is neat to hear that feedback and realize the positive impact that you're making, not only now, but it ripples forward.
Right.
So, so jumping into real estate,
Yeah.
how do you see things shifting with insurance and the real estate? I know different property owners that I represent, they're all like, God, this insurance. I'm sure you're tired of hearing that, kind of like lenders with interest rates and things like that.
Yeah.
But what are you noticing? Any thoughts also to what we might experience as we come into the cusp of 2025?
Yeah, no, definitely. Real estate and insurance it's a tough market. It's been a hard market, meaning that it's not a buyer's world. So if you're buying insurance and you have a real estate portfolio, most of the time you're probably getting rate increases, you're getting deductible increases, and maybe coverage reductions. There a lot of the insurance companies have paid a lot of hail damage claims because of all the storm activity,
Right.
and they don't want to pay to repair, a roof that maybe just had cosmetic damage. So the landscape is shifting and changing. Um, and it's been, year over year over year now. It's been several years in
Mhm.
a row. So it's not like we have a good, hey, it's almost over. It's not. And the what's happening with the hurricanes impacts Wisconsin,
Right.
whether or not we think it should or shouldn't, it will. And it impacts the cost of, repairing, materials, timing for labor. I mean, it's just everything. So, yeah, it's a tough market right now.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's going to continue that way. But I think on the positive side is that through collaboration and also the strength of your network and people's networks in general is really going to be a differentiating point for it. So speaking of that, how do you see relationships tying into insurance and real estate?
Relationships are always important in insurance and in real estate and with contractors, right? Like it just everybody can work together to try to make improvements and get things done. If you don't have relationships, I mean, it's sure you can probably succeed, but I just think it's important that you're in different groups, different industry, groups and involved, because you hear about things, you learn about new solutions that other people are trying and having success with.
Right. So, speaking of success, what got you into the insurance realm? Was there a pivotal person, or again, maybe just learning about different people's experiences? Was there a particular thing, or kind of like your Ironman, where there was a series of getting to know different factors and it kind of drew you in that sense?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I mean, I've been in the industry for about 24 years, so it's been a
So, a
long
little
time.
while.
It's been a little while. But I got into it right after college, and I interviewed with a woman at an insurance company, and I just saw myself and her that she was
Mhm.
successful and she liked it and loved it. And so I gave it a shot and just found a career. There's so
That's
much
great.
opportunity in insurance, for anybody really, but I just really took to it. I didn't know much about it when I started. So I really
Right.
dedicated my time to learning, and I did insurance designations to get, up and running quicker, because you have to have some credibility. And when you start out in any job, if you don't have any experience or the knowledge, right? It's hard to
Right. And you're
hard to,
young, right? It's
when you're
like the
young.
the
Um,
underpinning of like you better work hard and do it well.
Right. And at the time, as an underwriter, you're trying to advise agents, insurance agents like myself today. And most of the time, even back 20 plus years ago, they were mostly older men. And, what were they going to
Right.
listen to die, 22-year-old, die who just graduated from college and didn't know anything yet? So, so I joined every insurance, association I could. I got all of the credentials, got a master's degree. I did whatever I thought could help. And now it's just paying dividends. I mean, all that time invested back then, I was single, I didn't
Yeah.
have children. Um, Now it's really helpful in how I advise my clients, because I know insurance. I know everything about it. I know what the policy should have on it. I know how to help them control their claims, and, what the underwriter is going to ask, what
Right.
problems are going to arise before the underwriter even says it, because I was the underwriter. So,
Right.
and now it's just fun. Now it's
Well,
just,
definitely. And I think that's the thing, right? And again, here's that common thread between endurance sports and whether it's real estate or insurance of you just go into it with a clear decision that you're going to be successful and you find the ways and the resources and you put in the sweat equity and the labor and you invest in yourself and career and other things. And then it's the overnight success 10, 15 years later when
Mhm.
everything has really been cemented in a beautiful way and you have expertise and so many happy clients and the understanding of the different facets and how they feed together, which is integral not only
Right,
for identifying possible problems that you can avoid them so you don't even get to that point, which is huge for clients.
right. Yeah. And going back to relationships, having relationships both ways. So with the clients, right, is really important, but also with the underwriters. And
Right.
having that rapport and the credibility of being an underwriter and having friends all over the carrier side is helpful too. There's instant credibility, and they want to help me too succeed. So, which is great. It all works out. But I do my part for them too. I make sure that, I'm
Mhm.
getting them what they need, and making sure the client gets exactly what they need. So,
That's perfect. Yeah. It seems like a simple recipe, right? But yet you notice that when you look out into the marketplace, not everyone follows it. And that is
mhm.
what it is. But we hear a lot about robotics, right? AI, all of this. And, I think sometimes of kind of like scare tactics for industries of they're going to come in and wipe out your arena. I personally don't have that concern in commercial. I think it'll help with pulling reports, different things of that nature also assisting. But I think because of the importance of relationships and also some of those different conversations that it's not going to eliminate us. What are your thoughts for robotics, AI in the insurance realm?
Yeah, I think you're right. There's going to be we have to learn how to use it, because I think it could be really helpful if you're trying to aggregate loss data, or, predict some loss modeling, what's going to happen next year
Mhm.
if they grow, their revenues are up, the payrolls are up, their claims are doing this. Absolutely, room for improvement there. But I don't think in the larger commercial space, um, those businesses are complex, and the business owners are going to want somebody to talk to about their risk and how
Mhm.
to mitigate it and what to do after claim happens. So I don't anticipate, maybe in the smaller commercial space there might be some automation that kind of takes somebody doesn't want, they want more of a transactional deal, and they're comfortable with that. But I don't see, our clients moving in that direction at all.
Right. No, I agree. So I have two final questions for you. One, is, do you anticipate there will be an Ironman 2?
Uh, not not in the near future for sure. I do think
Yeah.
triathlon will continue in my future, but probably at a lesser distance and only because, my 13-year-old boy is a great
Yeah.
career. There's other things that I want to accomplish, but
Yeah.
triathlon will still be a part of it. Yeah.
Definitely. That's great. And my final question for you, Diana, is what does living fully mean to you?
Well, that's a great question. Um, I think living fully means, to me, I want a full life with my family, my faith, career, and life on my own terms. So I just try to wake up every day and decide, what does today look like? What do I want to accomplish? And how do I show up and be the best version of myself for all of those people? And that
Yeah.
means something different to everybody, right? Like the kids need
Well, and
something
that's the
different.
beautiful thing.
Yeah. So I love it. I love what I do. I love being an owner at Hausman Group. I love being involved in our church,
Mhm.
volunteering for blessings, like all of those things are me and what I want to do and what's important. So to me, living fully is being able to do all of those things.
Which is perfect because at the end of the day, when your heart is full, right, and you're doing something that you love, you have fulfillment, family, loved ones, and are contributing. I would say that is a rich life.
Right. Yeah, I
So,
agree.
yeah. Last but not least, Diana, how can people connect with you?
You know what? I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook. People could reach out that way, or happy to, chat on the phone. Email works too, and all of that contact information are on both of those sites.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Bye.
Bye.